Sit down and enjoy yourself because it's time for yet another episode of Heavenly Album Covers. Here at Heavenly Album Covers, we have way too many album covers to show and to give a proper description and meaning to. So today we're just going to whiz through a bunch and a lot of album covers that are really nice album covers, but we just can't take the time to fully explore their depths in verbal communication. So sit back or lie down and enjoy this quick overview of many album covers. And we're gonna start off with Joan Baez and her album Blowin' Away. And here's Joan. She's in some sort of flight suit. Maybe she was just in an aircraft or an airplane, and she's got the full goggles and a headgear up here. Her hand is outstretched. All her fingers are erect and fully unfolded. In fact, it looks like her hand is photoshopped in a weird way. But here's Joan Baez in a flight suit and her album Blowin' Away. This album also came with a cryptic drawing. I assume that Joan did this drawing. I don't understand it, but it was in this album. Next album is by our friend Teresa Brewer, and like all of her album covers, Teresa looks very alert and with the moment, and she's got a really colorful dress. She's got some grapes hanging from her neck. Her makeup looks almost goth, and the lettering here is just massive and it never stops. It's a very high energy album cover, and it's on Coral Records. Thank you, Teresa Brewer. Next up is Skeeter Davis, a very popular and very good country western singer. And this album is called Why So Lonely on RCA Victor. Skeeter did duets with a lot of male singers, and she did records on her own. Here she is. She's looking a bit forlorn and lonely here, but she's forcing a smile here, and she has one earring. She's wearing some sort of lace top, and her hair looks like some sort of geometric pattern up here happening. So this is Skeeter Davis. Next we have a country western singer and guitar player, Eddie Dean. He's the Golden Cowboy, and Eddie is adorned with golden clothing, and he has a golden ring, a golden guitar, and he looks really great. He's kind of leaning that way, kind of that way, and the background is dark, but the lettering really pops out, and you could tell that Eddie Dean played a lot of guitar because his hands look very muscular. The next album cover we have is by the great singer Tom Jones, and this is on Parrot Records, and the album is called It's Not Unusual, which was probably Tom Jones' biggest hit. Here we see Tom Jones leaning up against a small tree, and he's got a twig in his hand, or in his hands, and that's very interesting. And that's Tom Jones. It's Not Unusual. And here's an album cover by Jan Howard. I've never listened to this album, but it looks great and it looks very listenable. Here's Jan. She's oddly framed by this little green framing device. It seems like it either should not have been there or it should have been moved down. It looks like the little framing device is getting in the way of her chin. But Jan looks really good. And again, her hair also, like Teresa Brewer's hair, it looks actually like Skeeter Davis's hair too. It looks geometric. Back in the 50s and 1960s, geometric hair was very popular. This is on Decca Records. Speaking of Tom Jones, this album is by The Living Brass, and this album is called The Living Brass Play Songs Made Famous by Tom Jones. And here's a woman, she's got a crocheted top. Her hair is flowing and wild, and she looks a little bit uncomfortable up here. I'm not sure why. Maybe they took too many photographs here. But this has instrumental versions of Tom Jones songs, and it's got to be good. The next album cover is featuring the outstandingly wonderful and great Liberace. This album is called Strangers in the Night. Liberace made thousands and thousands of records. You can find them almost anywhere. You could devote your life to collecting Liberace albums and you would never get bored. And here's Liberace here. He's also got slightly geometric hair up here. Looks like he has a little bit of lipstick. He has a hanky down here in his pocket. He's adorned with jewels. He's got a jeweled ring, and looks like he does standards. The interesting thing is the back of his palm, back of his hand, and his forearm is covered with body hair. It's almost upsetting, really, to look at. And Liberace has a nice jeweled bow tie here. He's got a great smile. Just a perfect photograph here. This is on Pickwick Records. Next we have The Village People. It's a one-sided 12-inch single of YMCA and Macho Man, and I've always liked the Casablanca motif here on their 12-inch records. Casablanca was also the record label of Kiss, and they also use this backdrop for their records. It's basically a movie set here with camels, camera, and a large desert setting back here. This is pretty amazing. It has, since it has YMCA and Macho Man, it's just a classic, plus the cover is pretty great. One more album cover here is by Flip Wilson. He was a comedian. He might still be around, but I think he passed away. Flip Wilson had a TV show. He was a stand-up comedian and all-around entertainer. His TV show in the early 70s was really popular, and Flip Wilson loved to dress up as a woman named Geraldine, and she was Flip as Geraldine was really outrageous and said very outrageous things. Here is Geraldine wearing some fringe, and Flip Wilson is in the middle of all this structure thing here. And this album is called Don't Fight the Feeling. Here's another album cover. Here's the edge right here, and the other edge is over here, if you can't see it. This album is a live album by Pat Benatar. It's called Live from Earth, and it has all of her radio hits on it. This album cover is incredibly simple. It just has her last name here in pink and purple creative writing here, Benatar, and the bottom lettering is almost hidden down here. The inside has a lot of photos of Pat and her band, and there she is. Lots of funny pictures and concert pictures, and there she is again. She was and still is very popular singer and rock performer. And I think this is the last record here. Yep, this is Barbra Streisand and her album, which is entitled Wet. And the cover photo shows Barbra Streisand in a wet atmosphere. She's actually wet, and the album cover is called Wet. It's kind of a ironic joke, or a bit of wordplay here, because Barbra Streisand is wet, and her album is called Wet. And to hit that home, she also is wet on the flip side, on the back side of the album. The album is called Wet, and Barbra Streisand is wet. Looks like she's in a hot tub here. And this album had a sticker on the front of Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer. It says includes the hit No More Tears. And I like this little sticker that was on this album. It's really nice. So those are our backlog of album covers, and took a while to get through those, but I think we made it okay. You see that her Barbra Streisand's album is called Wet, and she's wet. I think she's in a hot tub here.